Reese traded to the Atlanta Dream, as you guys know. Jeff Pagliocca couldn't wait to send her packing. See ya. In fact, reports are coming out that Jeff Pagliocca was so excited about sending Angel Reese to Atlanta, he personally packed her bags. Don't lift a hand, Miss Reese. I got this for you. Hey, you need a car too? Hey, taxi! Picked up her luggage, threw it in the backseat of a taxi, said hasta la vista, baby.
Chicago Sky just made a move nobody expected, and the reaction has been explosive. Ticket sales are surging to heights the franchise hasn't reached in years, and fans are buzzing for one reason. One player is gone. With Angel Reese now in Atlanta after a turbulent stint in Chicago filled with tension, drama, and locker room controversy, the energy around the team has shifted instantly. Fans are celebrating the change like a new era has begun. But how does the departure of a single player completely transform a franchise overnight? And could this shocking exit be the spark that launches a full Chicago Sky comeback?
Angel Reese boldly and competitively called out the Chicago Sky for how they would move forward in terms of needing talent if they were going to compete, saying that she wanted to be a part of the organization and she wanted to compete at a high level. It didn't go over so well, Jay, in the public eye domain, at least as far as Chicago brass was concerned, and she actually ended up being suspended for a half a game. There seemed to be sort of breadcrumbs that perhaps this organization was not prepared for her vocalness and
the moment Angel Reese left the Chicago Sky, something extraordinary happened, something the numbers alone can't fully explain. Ticket sales didn't just rise, they exploded, surging like a rocket through the atmosphere and leaving fans, analysts, and casual observers staring in disbelief. Suddenly, the Sky became one of the hottest tickets in the league, all because a single player was gone. How does one departure create that kind of instant shockwave? That's the question everyone is asking.
Expects me to believe that the Chicago Bravado traded Angel Reese because they were not ready for her star power. The Bravado traded the matriarch of Me Bounce because she was too famous? Are you starting to understand why I refer to Monica McNutt as a pretend analyst? And look, in her defense, she is not the only one today at the worldwide leader in woke who's trying to convince us that Angel Reese is a huge star.
Angel Reese had never truly become a fan favorite in Chicago. Behind the scenes and across social media, whispers painted the image of a player whose attitude often overshadowed her talent. A star many believe saw herself as bigger than the franchise, even bigger than the league itself. To critics, she wasn't just confident, she was disruptive. Her personality was viewed as too dominant, too volatile, and too polarizing for a team desperately trying to build chemistry and cohesion.
Chicago Sky said, "We just don't want to deal with the headache. We don't care. We don't want her here. She's been a locker room cancer from the jump. Quits the first year, quits the second year, fakes a back in my neck, my back, fakes a back injury, doesn't even finish her first season of Unrivaled, can't be bothered with her second season, so she just comes in late." It's being reported that the Chicago Sky said, "We need to get her out of here." Angel Reese did not request a trade. The Chicago Sky said, "We just don't want her on our team."
The trade to the Atlanta Dream, completed in a whirlwind that insiders say moved with stunning speed, wasn't something Angel Reese demanded. She didn't march into Jeff Pagliocca's office asking out. She didn't threaten legal action or refuse to play. Instead, the decision came from Chicago, a franchise that ultimately determined the drama and distractions were no longer worth the talent she brought to the floor.
At what point do we see the first signs of cracks in the foundation? Some of them players looking around, they're like, "We're free agents." Holla at you. I'm gonna go play somewhere else. Where newly acquired teammates didn't just light a fire. The Chicago Sky locker room, I'm gonna tell you right now, Chicago Sky win more games they won last year.
Sources say Jeff Pagliocca handled the move with striking decisiveness, in a scene some described as cold enough to feel scripted for a sports drama. The message surrounding Angel Reese's exit seemed unmistakable. Chicago was ready to move on, and quickly. Her time with the Sky had reportedly been marked by tension from the start. Questions about consistency, professionalism, and chemistry followed her throughout her tenure, with reports suggesting coaches and teammates often felt forced to adjust around the turmoil. By her sophomore season, frustration inside the organization had reportedly reached a boiling point, with visible signs of strain from players and staff alike. What made the aftermath so shocking was how immediate the shift felt. It seemed almost impossible that one player's departure could alter a franchise's atmosphere so dramatically, yet the response suggested exactly that. Ticket sales surged, season packages moved rapidly, and fan excitement spiked almost overnight. To many observers, the numbers told the story. Chicago appeared to have rediscovered its momentum by removing the source of ongoing friction. Across social media, reactions poured in, ranging from relief to celebration, with fans posting phrases like, "Finally peace in the locker room," and "Chicago's glow-up starts now."
Chicago Sky GM Jeff Pagliuca is completely done with Angel Reese. He's looking to get rid of her. He had just made a statement. The Chicago Sky sent out a statement to Angel Reese, and I'm pretty sure she wants out as well. I mean, she refused to play in games last season. She pretty much quit on the team, and none of the current players want anything to do with it. We remember Angel Reese's mysterious back injury the last few games of the season, where she basically refused to get in the games upon being suspended by the league and the team. The team suspended her for a first half, and then she refused to enter the game the second half.
The trade itself felt both decisive and revealing. Angel Reese reportedly had preferred destinations for a fresh start, with Atlanta high on her list thanks to its respected coaching staff and vibrant market. But what stood out most was Chicago's willingness to make the move happen with minimal resistance, appearing far more focused on ending the situation than maximizing return. In most trades, teams battle over leverage, assets, and long-term strategy. This felt different. To many analysts, Chicago's approach suggested a franchise prioritizing culture over compensation, a rare case of addition by subtraction, where restoring harmony mattered more than acquiring value on paper. And the impact appeared immediate. Reports indicated players inside the organization felt a sense of relief, with the locker room gaining space to rebuild chemistry without the constant strain that had defined the previous era. The media narrative shifted just as fast. Analysts who once focused on Chicago's internal drama began praising the franchise's decisiveness and strategic clarity. Coverage moved away from speculation about dysfunction and toward excitement over what the restructured roster might become. Across sports shows, podcasts, and social media, one message dominated. When a franchise knows what it wants and has the courage to make a hard decision, public perception can change overnight.
Chicago Sky getting dogged out, of course they are, because their little darling Angel Reese, who's, by the way, still got me blocked because she can't handle the smoke. My God, 90% of the players in this league, y'all wanted all this attention, and then when you got it, and you got some criticism, you couldn't handle it. Come on, really? Fine, all right, good. But guess what? I can still tell you didn't say a damn thing to the Chicago Sky fans. Nothing. The Chicago Sky fan base has heard nothing from Angel Reese.
Meanwhile, Angel Reese's move to Atlanta adds an entirely new layer of intrigue. She joins a franchise eager to harness her talent, yet fully aware of the reputation that followed her out of Chicago. In Atlanta, the reaction has been split between excitement and caution, with fans and analysts debating how her personality and playing style will fit within the Dream's culture. While Chicago celebrates a fresh start, Atlanta prepares for a complicated challenge, integrating a player with undeniable ability but lingering questions about locker room chemistry. The irony has not gone unnoticed across the WNBA. A player some critics branded as larger than the league itself and disruptive behind the scenes may have unintentionally sparked Chicago's resurgence simply by leaving. Now the focus shifts to what comes next. Can Chicago turn this renewed harmony into real success on the court? Will the roster overhaul transform the Sky into legitimate contenders? Or will Angel's departure leave holes that excitement alone cannot fill? At the same time, Angel Reese faces pressure of her own in Atlanta. She is no longer the center of a fractured Chicago narrative. She now enters a new environment where expectations are immediate. The Dream need her not only to produce but to blend in, buy in, and prove she can elevate a winning culture rather than disrupt one.
Angel Reese was drafted to the Chicago Sky with the 7th overall pick back in 2024. The Chicago Sky are kind of like that nail salon in your city that used to have a ton of hype. Like all the influencer girlies went there, all the celebrity girlies went there. It was going viral every other week. They did all the designs, they had all the best techs, and then they just fell off out of nowhere. Because what was once a championship organization quickly became a mess, truly. But 2 of the baddest girls in your city start going to this nail salon, and it seems like there's hope again that this place might be back on the come up. How do you bring the baddies back into the nail salon? Well, you hire an amazing nail tech that gets the shape right every single time. The design,
Chicago's strategy, unconventional as it may appear, highlights a deeper truth in professional sports. Success isn't defined only by stats or star power, but by cohesion, culture, and the environment that allows a team to function as one unit. The decision to move on from Angel Reese, while dramatic, reflects a clear organizational priority: stability over noise and long-term clarity over short-term headlines. Fans have responded in visible ways, with rising ticket sales, stronger engagement, and a renewed sense of optimism surrounding the franchise. Beyond the numbers, the shift in atmosphere inside the Sky organization has become a talking point in itself, signaling a reset in identity rather than just roster changes. Across the WNBA landscape, observers have taken notice. Commentary has increasingly contrasted Chicago's proactive approach with teams that retain high-profile talent despite internal friction, emphasizing the often overlooked role of personality fit, leadership alignment, and locker room chemistry. Some analysts even suggest this could influence how franchises evaluate roster construction moving forward, treating culture as a core performance metric alongside talent. As the season unfolds, Angel Reese's departure will remain a reference point. Whether Chicago's gamble on culture pays off and sustained success will ultimately be measured on the court. But for now, the franchise has already achieved something more immediate: a dramatic shift in perception, energy, and expectation.
For the season to end and her to immediately be twerking on a private jet they thought her back was hurting on her way to Vegas to party. Angel Reese flat out quit on this team. She threw her teammates under the bus. Ariel Atkins, who sat at the podium and defended Angel Reese earlier in the season. Ariel Atkins don't want nothing to do with Angel Reese and his team. She don't want nothing to do with this. She threw Courtney Vandersloot under the bus, talking about we need a younger point guard. She's old, yada, yada, yada. Just for Courtney Vandersloot to have to get on camera and take shots back at Angel Reese.
Meanwhile, Chicago's story has become a case study in strategic boldness, an example of how, in professional sports, sometimes moving on from a high-profile presence can be framed as a reset rather than a setback. The broader lesson being drawn is that team success isn't always about accumulating talent, but about ensuring that talent functions within a unified system. Angel Reese's time in Chicago will ultimately be viewed as complex and polarizing, a chapter defined by both immense potential and ongoing turbulence. Her departure, in contrast, has been followed by a noticeable shift in tone, energy, and public perception around the franchise. What's emerging now is a narrative of renewal. The Sky appear revitalized, with renewed optimism from fans who are embracing a new direction built around cohesion and collective identity. Ticket sales and engagement reflect that excitement, turning what was once uncertainty into anticipation. Social media conversations have shifted as well, moving from scrutiny of internal issues to curiosity about what this restructured roster can become. The buzz around season tickets and the upcoming campaign has grown into something more than routine interest. It has become a sense of expectation. In this evolving storyline, Chicago fans are no longer just watching from the outside. They're actively invested in a perceived revival, one shaped not only by new acquisitions or roster moves, but by a belief that culture and chemistry now sit at the center of the franchise's identity.
I really like the Angel Reese fit in Atlanta on paper. Huge trade out of the WNBA. Atlanta acquires Angel Reese. She's headed to the Dream. The Chicago Sky get the Dream's 2027 first round pick, 2028 first round pick, and Angel's tenure with the Sky ends after just 2 seasons. She made the critical comments, which obviously got her in trouble with the franchise. But when you look at her fit in Atlanta, assuming they can keep the rest of that roster intact, they didn't give anything up.
Behind the scenes, Chicago's front office and coaching staff have reportedly worked quickly to capitalize on the opportunity created by Angel Reese's departure. The organization has focused on reshaping the roster around complementary pieces, players who not only bring individual skill, but also fit the desired culture, identity, and system. Draft assets and roster flexibility, once discussed in the context of high-profile moves, are now being used to stabilize the core and reinforce balance across the lineup. The message from the franchise appears clear. This is not just a short-term adjustment, but a deliberate reset aimed at building long-term sustainability both competitively and commercially. At the same time, Angel Reese's arrival in Atlanta adds a contrasting storyline. While Chicago embraces a narrative of unity and cohesion, Atlanta now faces the challenge and opportunity of integrating a high-impact player whose competitiveness and intensity can be both a driving force and a potential adjustment point. Analysts remain split on how quickly that transition will take shape and whether it will unlock a new level of performance or require significant adaptation. The contrast between the two situations has only amplified interest across the league. One franchise is betting on cultural reset, the other on talent integration. For Chicago fans, however, the immediate results feel tangible. The surge in ticket sales and engagement has become a symbol of renewed belief in the team's direction. Beyond numbers, it reflects a shift in emotional investment, supporters buying into a vision of a more balanced, cohesive, and stable future.